What is up, you? I was like, why is my microphone muted? But I was looking at the wrong dial there. What is up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints? Welcome back. Already had a stream earlier. Second stream of the day. This is the good one, though. This is the one-on-one with Praise. Praise is here. What's up, Praise? Welcome to the channel. Everybody knows who you are, but just in case, let everybody know where they can find you.
What's up, Rage? Thanks for having me. Yeah, I have my own channel on YouTube here. It's Praise I Am. I have two gals with me. We do like our streams nightly. We try to do nightly at least, but not always. It's frequent though, and we talk about all types of different subjects that regard Christianity. We do defenses of Christianity. We do response videos. And we have open streams where people could come in and voice their opinions like atheists. So a lot of people seem to like that. You've been there a few times, Rage. We've known each other for a couple of years now, man. It's you're a cool dude. I
appreciate it.
Enjoyed some of that. Our past interactions there.
Oh, yeah, and I've always enjoyed going on your channel, even when Gavin was there. You know, I talk smack, but it's a lot better now that Gavin isn't there. And, I think Olive and Sparrow do a hell of a job for you. And, yeah, I do enjoy hopping in your rooms. They're a bit late for me now, so usually I catch them at the tail end when I'm waking up for the day. So, but I do appreciate you coming and doing this, I know I like to do my response videos and talk shit, and you like to do your thing and you talk shit, and that's all part of the YouTube thing. But I know
exactly.
I personally like to come together and do these one-on-ones. Like let's talk our shit,
right?
But let's also come together and have a conversation. So
true that, yeah.
I have questions, and I do appreciate you being here. And if you want to end up mirroring this, I know I'd offered to dual stream, but if you want to end up mirroring this, feel free to do so. You know that you're always welcome to do that. So I'll just get right into my questions. Now, like I kind of warned Praise before this started that some of these questions he might find offensive. It's not really my intention. It's just I'm trying to understand.
Right.
So I'll start with the first one. Last night you said that you wanted to provide a safe haven for Kent Hovind. Is that what you really want to do on your channel, is provide a bubble for your faith?
Yes, to give him a platform where he can freely express his views. That's what I mean in terms of free speech. That to me, I don't know who's trying to censor him, but someone is. I mean, because he's been reported and alerted to. So what I mean, like a haven, I mean not a safe haven for him to if he has like these weird viewpoints on homosexuality, I will confront him on that, and I will correct him on that. But as far as like evolution and having his viewpoints expressed, and yes, he's more than free to come on my show anytime. So that's what I meant by that.
Well, yeah, and to be fair to Hovind when it comes to the homosexual topic, I don't know where he stands now. I assume he's never came out and said that he's changed those beliefs, that he no longer believes that God's law should be American law. But he did used to harbor those beliefs. He definitely has a lot of very similar NIFB beliefs in those regards. Now, I was kind of scrolling through the comments of last night's stream, and Cindy Lincoln in the comments asked you for a private, unbiased, and fair conversation between the two of you. You refused her, saying, quote, "For my own protection, I can never talk privately with you. It would have to be publicly on a panel with Olive and Sparrow. That is non-negotiable." Why can't you talk privately with Cindy Lincoln to get her side of the story directly? Is there some are you afraid for privacy concerns or something?
Well, for sexual harassment, number one, if she records me and says that I was harassing her, because here's the thing, Rage, I don't put too much stock into what she says, because I think a lot of this where I'm backing up Kent comes from their duplicitous and sketchy background. And this was all posted on Brett Keen's channel before of how promiscuous. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, Brett Keen admits that there for a period of time, he was being bombarded with a lot of different information. He was being, Kent Hovind was bringing a lot of people on to kind of counter what they were saying. But sketchy backgrounds, their background is they were there. That's their background.
Well, no, I mean like the way they approach things. Because I was watching Brett, and it seems to be they were dishonest on things. It seems to be they were inconsistent. There were so many inconsistencies, and I was watching the whole thing play out. And then Brett would come back another time. Then another time he kept switching me. I mean, talk about flip flopping. He just flip flops like every day almost. But I did see a lot of inconsistencies on their end, and I find them untrustable, and I just don't trust her because I just don't know her. I don't know her personally, and I have no reason to put my trust in her and privately. But I will talk to her publicly, though. I did make that proclamation.
Well, and that's totally your prerogative. I would just say, like, for me, I'm definitely going to trust, especially when so many people that have left Dow are coming out and kind of saying these same things. To me, that's definitely an indication that there's smoke. There's something here. Like, if there's smoke, there's usually fire, right?
Right.
All right. So last night you failed to confront Kent Hovind about the pedophile that has been allowed into Dow. You did allow Kent to tell a bunch of lies about the situation, though. Are you purposely trying to lend support to a twice convicted sexual deviant, and do you harbor sympathies for people who are attracted to adolescent and preteen children?
So to answer the first question, I don't know the whole details behind the Mark Stoney situation, or the Mark, or what's his name?
Chris
Mark
Jones.
is his name. Chris Jones.
Yeah, Mark Stoney's the guy that is one of the people that have come out against, have revealed some of the behind the scenes that was going on in Dow.
I hear conflicting stories on both sides. I don't know how I can verify who's lying and who's not. I'm in that process, and so I don't. I mean, right now, because of my leanings, I'm sure you would lean probably to the atheist side. I'd probably lean more to, Kent's side because I'm a Christian on that.
I don't think that there's team sports involved here. So I think most of when it comes to this issue, when it comes to the pedophile issue, most of the dissent is coming from Christians. It's not really coming from. I mean, some atheists are talking about it. I'm one of them. But the people that are upset with Kent Hovind about this are mainly Christians.
Right. So here's what I know, and this is why it's, as far as the background information I have, the little bit I have is that Kent was being kind and gracious to this Chris fellow because it looks like he was not hired other places because of his background. I mean, he was a pedophile that was charged with with doing stuff with kids and stuff, very terrible things. But what I understand from Kent is that he changed his life, turned to the Lord, came, and so Kent was his pastor. And so what he was doing is, under his supervision, of course, through the job, like he would, watch him and give him a chance, at his dinosaur park. So I guess the details behind it was outside the park. So whatever happened, the allegations of this other stuff outside of the dinosaur park, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but it did happen outside. But I guess my question to the people that are so critical of Kent, why is he responsible for stuff outside the park?
All right. So for one, he's only responsible for allowing the pedophile inside the park. For two, he claims it happened outside of the park. Now, right now, at this very moment, Brett Keane has Linda Shark on. Linda Shark was somebody that was in Dinosaur Adventureland. She was the person that tried to put Chris Jones and the boy in the man cave, where there would be 12 other men sleeping there, plenty of people around, nothing would have happened. She's the one that she's out claiming it right now on Brett Keene's channel, that Kent Hovind himself personally said no, that Chris Jones and the boy will be sleeping on campus. I believe it's on campus, but even if it's not on campus, it's on a property owned by them. It's the property that Cindy Lincoln owned. The house was empty, and Kent Hovind overrode them and said, no, Chris Jones and the boy will stay in this empty house by themselves. Have you heard the conversation about the recorded conversation between the interviewer of the Daily Beast and Kent Hovind?
Yes, and that's where I got the information that it was off campus. I heard him talk to that lady on it wasn't on Steve McCrae's channel on
Right,
so I listened to that.
All right, so I don't have to play that. I was going to play that for you in case you hadn't heard it. And yeah, he claims that it was off campus. But the accusation is not that it was off campus, is that even if it was off campus, it was on this property owned by them, right? Like it was, it wasn't like, they went to a hotel, right? No, it was a property that they own. And even then, why are you going to not at least say something when this twice convicted pedophile is taking a little boy to a hotel alone?
If Kent actually knew all this stuff and he allowed this, and knowing that this was going to happen, knowing the past of Chris, and I will never associate him ever again. I had no idea. Like, this is new information to me.
Yeah. I figured that I probably had. I get obsessive. If I want information, I go for it. And
Yeah.
I've been covering Kent Hovind for a while. Like I have my own little personal distant relationship with Kent Hovind, right? Like, Kent Hovind's challenged me. We got the Matt Powell thing, the phone conversation with me, Matt Powell, and Kent Hovind, inviting me to Thanksgiving down there.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to change gears, but we'll definitely be coming back to Chris Jones in a minute. So did Kent Hovind lie about not having knowledge of why YouTube took him down last night?
As far as to my knowledge, he's not lying. See, I don't know Kent. I wish I knew Kent more, personally. So my only dealings with him is with our very sparse. They're very sparse over time. Like, I only had like maybe 5 or 10 background instances where I would like do like the handling the show with introductions and stuff. But I never really talked to him up front. I don't know him. I don't know him too personally, so I can't really answer that.
All right, so right now I want to play the part where he was talking about this, where you asked him about this from your show last night.
Yeah.
It's just about 2 minutes, and we'll hear what he said, and then I've got another question.
Yes, I understand that, and so here we'll go to the next question. Has YouTube informed you of yet of why your channel has been taken down?
No, we have asked them. We have appealed it. Like, what was it about? We don't know. We still don't know to this moment.
Unbelievable. I think that is telling that you don't even know why they took it down.
No.
Yeah, I think that's very suspicious from a platform that has millions and millions of followers and subscribers. So I don't know. I just think that shows on their end how shady they can be. We'll go to the next question.
Well,
so
it goes back to their agenda. What are they trying to accomplish? It looks like many of these platforms are in their goal is a one world government, a new world order. They're pushing hard for Satan's agenda, which is to eliminate humans. And anybody who wants to speak out against that is banned and shut up. So what's their goal? In any sport, the person on defense has to keep in mind, what's that guy's goal? If I'm in basketball, I got to realize he wants to get to that basket. He may fake right, fake left, up, down, but his goal doesn't change, okay? The devil's goal has not changed. Ever since God told him in the Garden of Eden, someday some seed of the woman's going to bruise your head.
All right, let me get rid of that. So, do you subscribe, Praise, to the theory that YouTube is part of the New World Order, and that this very same New World Order set up Chris Jones on several different occasions? He was lewd with adolescent boys, 2 of which he was convicted for.
As far as YouTube being part of the New World Order, I don't go that far. That type of conspiracy, no. But as far as Chris Jones, are you saying that YouTube conspired in this or something? Like, can you go more? What do you mean by that?
One of his defenses of Chris Jones is that Chris Jones isn't innocent. He's been set up by the New World Order.
Oh, okay.
Because of his political beliefs.
No, I would not align with that. So I think that's just going a little too far.
These are one of the things that, like, when people say Kent Hovind is enabling a pedophile, it's because he makes statements like those.
Right. I can see that. But it might not necessarily be. I think Kent is, he could be a little bit, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like, he'd be like perturbed, or or someone is, there's like a disorder out there, like, I forget the word I'm thinking of, but he might be a little bit because he has been attacked a lot from outsiders. So I don't think that would be convincing to tell me that he's enabling a pedophile. But I think it's that word I was trying to think of. It's paranoid. Yeah. So I think he's paranoid over a lot of things that's happened to him. And I think that's what's leading to his paranoia, but I would never think you'd be enabling pedophiles. And if I'm proven wrong, then I will never associate with him ever again. I will repudiate him for absolutely.
Well, you don't. So you don't have to enable consciously. Like, he can truly believe that his friend is innocent, but his friend has been convicted twice. So by enabling, like when you justify the behavior, when you make a broad conspiracies to justify the behavior, then that's enabling, whether you're conscious of the enabling or not.
Yeah, I mean, if he's turning his head and knowing that this is happening, then yes, that's enabling I'm talking about. But if he doesn't really know what the background information, what's going on with Chris, if Chris is somehow taking advantage of him and Ken's goodness and niceness to him, then that's a whole nother story. So there is a distinction there, though.
You did say that you have listened to that interview at this point. Like, I probably, you probably hadn't listened to it up until the point you talked to Kent last night. But you said that you did listen to the interview with Kelly Wiles, I think her name is, the interviewer from the Daily Beast. And in that interview, like, Kent lays it out. Like, he's known the man for 20 years. He doesn't think he's guilty of these charges. He thinks he's been set up of these charges. Until Chris Jones himself admits to Kent Hovind that he's guilty of these charges, he will never believe he's guilty of these charges. He's been aware. Like, there's no manipulation there. He's known this man for 20 years. He's known him. He knew him when he got these charges, right? So he was probably aware at the time of the charges. There's no manipulation here. He chooses to believe his friend over the conviction. So, like, if you get a conviction, it doesn't necessarily, like, innocent people get convicted, but if you get a conviction, usually there was evidence there to convict you, right?
Right. No, right. Yeah. So, I mean, it was my impression Ken knew of his past convictions and he was giving a chance to, because he couldn't get jobs. I mean, that's the reason why I thought he was getting employment at Kent's place, is because no one would hire him because of his past deeds. So you're saying that he's even denying the past things that happened?
Well, no, I think that's what you're saying. Like this man is somehow manipulating Kent Hovind.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, but it's after I'm talking about. So, basically he did his past deeds and those were in the records. And I thought Kent knew that, but Kent is saying, well, he came to Christ and he's changing a new leaf and I'm his pastor, and I'm going to give him a second chance under supervision, under, getting paid within that dinosaur parkland, whatever the thing that is. And I thought that was all taken care of, and there was nothing happening nefarious inside the park. What happened was outside of Kent's supervision, outside the park, and that's what I thought happened. Might be wrong, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, you understand, like, if Kent Hovind is running a PR campaign right now, he's doing damage control.
I really don't.
Daily Beast, that Daily Beast article dropped. From what I've heard, I haven't heard it from Matt Powell directly. I keep waiting for a call from Matt because I'm surprised he hasn't called me about it yet. But from what I'm hearing, as soon as that Daily Beast article dropped, Matt Powell could no longer stay on Dinosaur Adventureland. He had to get out, and he got out immediately.
That's new news to me. Yeah, I had no idea.
Matt Powell's back in Michigan right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, is that because of his? I thought he said. I mean, was that because he was going back to his church or something, or was it because of this ordeal? Do you know the reason why he did that?
So I had I had a third face to face with Matt Powell 8 months ago, 10 months ago. It was we weren't recording. It was off air. We met in this little coffee shop, a town over from where I stay because he was close to where I live here. And Matt Powell was haggard, and you could tell he was tired, and he was very unhappy with Kent Hovind back then. And back then I brought up Chris Jones, And Matt Powell said, we are handling that in-house. So
Right.
for 8 months later, for that Daily Beast article to drop and Matt Powell leaves, no, I think there's something there.
Okay.
Now,
No, that is
to be fair,
yeah,
like
yeah.
in that conversation, Matt Powell, he was highly critical of Kent Hovind. Like you could tell the idol worship had worn off now that he had been there for
Really?
an amount of period of time. Now, but like I wasn't sure if I could trust it, right? Like I don't trust Matt Powell. So everything Matt Powell told me, talking all that smack about Kent Hovind in that conversation, I'm like, Matt wants me to talk about this, right? So I never really talked about it. But because I don't know what to trust. I can't trust anything in my interactions with Matt Powell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know who do I trust? Like I'm still like basically learning as I go on. But Kent did say in that interview with that lady, that audio tape, that he says if he learned that if he learned that Chris was doing something, he would be immediately excommunicated off the property. You did hear that though, right?
Well, yeah, but like the accusation is that Chris did something, and he's justifying it. He's saying, "Why am
Right.
I responsible for that? It didn't happen on campus." When from all indication, it did happen in that house that Cindy Lincoln once owned. I don't know who owns it now, but like it's still like they wanted to put him in what they call the man cave. It's an area of Dinosaur Adventureland where all the single men sleep in one big room, right? And they were going to put Chris Jones and the boy in there, and from what Linda is saying, like, no, Kent Hovind overrode her, and she feels like to this day that she failed that little boy. She said straight out on Brett Keene's channel today that little boy was molested. Did you know that all right, I don't want to jump the gun. I'm not going to get into that question yet. I got a question about this coming up.
Yeah.
But so when I came into your stream last night and I confronted Kent Hovind about, basically him lying, saying he's gotten no notification. He has no
Right.
reason why they took down his YouTube channel. Kent admits he gets an email when I confront him. But then as soon as I expose to him the implications of that he then lied on your stream last night that he had no knowledge of why YouTube took him down. Then he backtracked and said, "Oh, wait a minute, no, we got an email for the second for the second strike." But like you realize he is lying about that. Like YouTube did send him an email regarding why they terminated his channel. Like you know that, right?
The second strike I'm aware of, but are you saying there's a third one now that he is lying about?
I'm saying that he got an email when they took his channel down. He got an email for that.
Okay, well, I don't know. What he said is no, he didn't get one. I'm not sure that he. So for him to lie, I'm just saying, like, can you tell me at the timestamp or where he said that the third thing? Because it would have to be isn't it 3 strikes you're out on YouTube, or is it 2 strikes?
Well, it's 3 strikes you're out. But
Yeah.
you can have your channel terminated with 0 strikes if you break certain guidelines. Like say like if you're buying subs.
Okay. So like I wasn't aware of if there was something after the second strike. Like I didn't hear that when I was talking with him. But if you're saying there was and now he's lying,
yeah,
I would like to see that.
There definitely was. So I'll share this with you. This is YouTube's policy. It's on YouTube's help page. If your channel or account is terminated, you may be unable to use, own, or create any other YouTube channels/accounts. When a channel is terminated, the channel owner gets an email explaining the reason for the termination. So, like Kent Hovind was literally lying on your channel last night, saying he has no idea why YouTube took his channel down.
Yeah, but there was someone that was I highlighted a comment. You can look down. It was Chris. I think his name's Chris. He says that he was terminated 3 times and he never got an email. So it looks like this has happened to other people. So at least we know it has happened before to other people.
Chris, some rando in your side chat says that it happened to them.
Yeah, he put it. I highlighted the comment. It's somewhere when Kent.
Well,
when
people
you
are
were
going to say that.
and-
Like people defend Kent Hovind for stuff that they have no idea that they can defend. Like people are going to say that, right, to
Right.
defend that claim. But like it's YouTube's policy to say, like every time you've gotten a strike on your channel, or even like the basic copyright stuff that doesn't do anything to your channel, you get an email from YouTube, do you not?
I'm sorry, I got distracted reading the. Gosh, I
So
shouldn't.
I'm sure you've had some strikes on your channel, but even then,
Oh, I had one.
Yes,
yeah, I had
you've
one.
gotten those copyright little things, like you use some music or something.
Oh yeah, I always get notifications.
So like emails, YouTube, they have to worry about the legality of their actions. So when you have Kent Hovind in your stream saying that, making the claim that YouTube owes him $68,000, and then he's making the claim that YouTube took down his channel with no notification, no email, he has no reason why. Like, does that sound legitimately reasonable to you?
No, I mean, yeah, from face value, yes, prima facie it doesn't. But weirder if things have happened, I give him the benefit of the doubt. I knew you're going to come with me Smokey on that too, and I think I was played there a little bit with Smokey. I just tried to be generous to people. That's all, because I try to be Christ-like, and some people take it as a weakness, but I think it's a strength. But that's just a difference in our worldview, anyway.
All right, so kind of back to Chris Jones now. Why didn't you want anyone to ask Kent about his relationship with Chris Jones last night? If he has nothing to hide, why couldn't that be a topic of conversation?
Kent's the one that
I know exactly. He didn't want it. He didn't want any talk about that. If he has nothing to hide, why is he hiding?
There might be legalities and things that
but it didn't stop him from talking about it and lying about the situation himself, right? So if you're gonna gag yourself for legal reasons, you say nothing, right? You don't say a little bit and then say, well, you can't ask me about all that shit I just said.
No, I mean, that I understand. You make a good point there. I mean, you're right. I don't know. Like, Ken did have a stroke too. Maybe he's not all there in the head, sometimes.
Yeah, he did have a stroke about 1.5 years ago, I think.
Yeah. So maybe he's, there's some things where he could, like, maybe it's not malfunctioning or something in his thinking. I just honored his choice. I'm not trying to hide anything. I wasn't trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to back any pedophile. In fact, if I learn more evidence, and this is coming out that Kent is, he's culpable for all this stuff, then I will disassociate from him. I mean, that's just a guarantee.
Well, yeah, and I definitely understand, like, he was a guest on your channel, and, he's not only just any guest, he's a high-end guest. Let's be honest. Like, Kent Hovind's been doing this for a long time. Pretty much everybody knows who he is, right? So you do gotta take a balance there. But at the same time, and you did bring up the Smokey situation, especially with that Smokey situation, and I don't know. It seems like you want to strike that balance to where you want to be supportive, but at the same time, you don't want to be supportive of pedophilia or justifying it, or so last night,
being complicit.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to be complicit in any evil like that. That'd be actually going against God. I would be supporting what we would say Satan and his agenda, and trying to bringing down the kingdom of light from the kingdom of darkness. So I would never want to be complicit in anyone's evil actions, including Smokey or this Chris fellow. I just want to make that clear. I want to separate myself from that.
Well, yeah, and I applaud you, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation and ask these questions, and hopefully these questions will make you think a bit about it a bit. Now, I know SFT's your boy, and SFT's hardcore, not only Hovind fan, but anything hardcore Baptist, right? So it's not just the young Earth shit; it's the Baptist things as well. And the thing about SFT that you need to be aware of, and he'll sit there and say he doesn't agree with the Matt Powells of the world and the things that they say too. But he does. I've seen him in the side chats. I've seen him agreeing with them, supporting them when they make these statements. So people they understand. These really hardcore Baptists understand that if they come out hard with their beliefs on YouTube, they'll be banned. And SFT has a growing channel that he does not want to get banned. I wouldn't necessarily trust SFT here when it comes to Hovind. I'm just going to put it that way. All right, so
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna my investigation research will be independent of him.
all
I
right,
mean,
I would
I
hope
love
so.
that the SFT is my boy though, but I'm just saying
Yeah, I know,
like
and
yeah, but this
I'm not
stuff,
trying to
yeah.
put you in a position where you're talking bad about him, but I'm just saying, like, with
Right.
my interactions through Matt Powell, I have seen SFT in many side chats agreeing with the things that Matt Powell says. All right. So
Yeah.
I mean, he can run away from it all he wants. I've talked shit to him about it several times. He knows where I stand on that, and he knows I'm not afraid to talk about it. All right.
Yeah.
So last night, Ken accused Mark Stoney of paying a boy $10,000 to lie about Chris Jones. This boy that was in this situation that was supposedly off campus, right? Are you aware that this boy told his mom what happened at Dow with Chris 5 days after he returned home from his visit to Dow? 5 days. 5 days. Like, he was probably tortured about it and finally came out to his mom, told her the truth. 5 days. Do you think that Mark Stoney paid that boy $10,000 to lie on Kent Hovind and Chris Jones in 5 days?
The details of that are cloudy because I was watching it on Greg Keen's show, and like it was conflicting things. So, I mean, that right there, the way you frame that question, it seems like unlikely. But I don't know.
I get the
really
5 days from that interview with the Daily Beast woman, because she brings that
Okay.
up. She says, because Kent always talks about how the mother says that he loved Dal and it was better in Disneyland, and the interviewer brings up, well, 5 days after the boy returned home, he told his mom what happened, and she filed this complaint. He's like, I wasn't aware of that. Like, I mean, come on, 5 days.
Yeah.
I mean, paying this boy $10,000, like Mark Stoney paying this boy $10,000. Mark Stoney, who's supposedly this cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs ex-vet with PTSD that doesn't know what the hell he's doing, paid $10,000. Come on. I mean, even without you take away the 5 days, like, come on, right?
Unless Mark Stoney's rich, I don't know. I mean, didn't that same kid come on Brett Keen's show and tell everyone nothing happened? I thought that's what happened on Brett Keen's show.
I don't think, like, if his mom is filing 5 days after the kid returned home, I doubt he went back on Kent Hovind's channel. But I don't know. Maybe he did. So do you still believe Kent Hovind?
But there's yes, I would say that I do trust him right now. I do believe him, but there's still this little part of me that is really questioning things that I'm hoping, like it's more of like it's like a positivity that he is right. So I'm not like 100% confident that he is right, but it's just more of I'm hoping he's right. That I trust him with what he's saying. So
I like how you said that. I'm hoping that he's right.
Yeah.
I hope that I hope that his bad decisions weren't intentional bad decisions, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So all right, so I'm going to switch gears again, and hopefully you're not going to take this offensive, but I just want to know, based on some statements that you've said, do you think pedophiles deserve forgiveness?
Yes.
Why?
Because they can be changed into new people, and I think that's through Jesus Christ.
So, I mean, sure, they can be, I guess, changed through new people. I don't think through Jesus Christ. I think through probably some psychiatry and and some self-reflection and self-help and all of that. I think that is probably possible. But even then, like I've always said, to me, pedophilia is the worst crime you can commit. To me, the second worst crime is rape. I can understand, like, all right, that this guy killed somebody 20 years ago and he's completely repentant and changed his life. But like when you rape or commit pedophilia, you're leaving you're leaving deep emotional scars. But not only that, like I don't think people can like actually change what they're attracted to. Like once you're attracted to something, I don't think you can change it. You can fight against it, right? But I don't think that you can necessarily change it. Like, can you imagine yourself just being able to stop yourself from being attracted to women?
I would beg to differ. I'll give you an example. There was a mass murderer, a serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, and he had all the he was driven to kill and eat people. He was a cannibal, and he says that all changed in one instant when he learned about that evolution was false and that Jesus Christ is the true God of the Bible. And he started,
he says that.
Yeah.
But he's also locked up and not able to go kidnap.
Well, no, someone killed him. So, I understand, but I've seen other accounts. There's even another murder out there that was this on the Brooklyn Strangler or Boston Strangler, one of those guys in New York or something.
People say that all the time. They, a lot of times they're saying it for the parole board and nobody else. Right.
I mean, these people weren't getting out though. I mean, we're talking some infamous murders out there.
PR campaigns. I mean, but whatever. Like, I take it as a grain of salt. People are going to say a thing, right? But like, when I bring this up, because I think that everybody's redeemable. I don't want people being judged on their past. But when it comes to something like pedophilia. Even if you do find the person redeemable, you have to take an element of responsibility there, right? So me as a parent of a child, even though I might be able to look at this person and say, all right, I think he's changed his ways, I'm not going to bet my child on that, right?
Right. I agree.
So, to me, it's like this is something, especially considering all of the rhetoric towards atheists. I know you just put out a video earlier today about this supposedly this transgender person. I didn't watch the video. I just saw the title. Transgender person masturbates in a bathroom. Liberalism is like some kind of mental condition, right?
Yep.
Like, considering, those kinds of statements and how there doesn't seem to be much faith or grace for atheists or trans people, but yet there is this faith and grace for pedophiles. Do you see...
Well, no, there's faith and grace for anyone that is repentant and admits that, to come to God and admit that, hey, I'm a sinner. I'm sick. I need a physician. I need Jesus Christ to help my life out, whatever position or whatever is haunting them, whatever sin or whatever they're doing. Jesus can help, and he heals. He'll get you into a new frame of mind, a new person. He changes your mind into a new creature. So it doesn't matter if when I attack, like the video I put up today, it's the people that do not want God, even when they're in their sin.
I don't want God in my sin. So am I worse than a pedophile?
No, I mean, I would say no, because according to what the Bible says, it says that if you've broken one law, you've broken them all. So God doesn't see it as men or humans see it. That human sees it. That if it's even one little infraction against God, it's to him it's death.
But
so that's the way I look at it.
There, though, right? Like
I can see where you're coming from, yes, but I see it in a different way, though. I think that it doesn't matter even if you stole a pack of bubble gum, you're not going to go to heaven. So when I say, like, are you any worse than this as someone who stole a pack of bubble gum? No, I think you're on the same level.
So stealing a pack of bubble gum is on the same level as a pedophile.
Yes, when it comes to going into heaven.
Praise. The answer is no. It's not.
Well, yes, with God it is going into heaven.
Can you not see that that's one of many fucked up things about the God you believe in? Because it's not
no
in
one
any
is,
way. It's not.
But the point, I can see your point. I understand, but I'm just saying there is no one is justified to go to heaven on their own merit. That's the whole point. Everyone falls short. And that's what I mean. But yes, I mean, as far as the level of the crime itself, I would say, yes, for us as humans, that's a terrible crime. And pedophilia affects people for their lives. So yes, psychologically, it's terrible. It's a lot worse than stealing bubble gum, I would say.
I'd rethink that. All right. Should people cover up or make justifications for pedophiles and their behaviors? Because this is the criticism of Kent Hovind. This is my criticism of Kent Hovind. That we feel like this is what he's done. And we think that there's ample evidence. Not, Kent Hovind says, no, I didn't do that, but provides no evidence. There's ample evidence out there that's exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm. And if that evidence stacks up, and it's like, I'm gonna have to. I mean, because like some of the evidence I wasn't even aware of. I'm gonna look into that. And I mean, if it ends up being, valid evidence, and absolutely that is something that you would have to ask him to repent at least, and come out and be honest with people and just let people know and repent. If he doesn't, I would have to disassociate with him. I mean, if that's what happens, I don't know. I'm still looking into all this stuff. I'm still learning,
Oh yeah, and I'm not trying to roast you. I am literally. I wrote out these questions, and I've been highly critical since I came back to YouTube after finding my job, and I came back. I was gone for 13 days. I found a job. I started working a job. I came back. Kent Hovind's channel's taken down. All this stuff is happening, and I'm like, what is going on? All right, so I'm almost done with the Chris Jones part of my questions, and then I got just a few more, and then you can say whatever you want to say about me and my coverage if you have anything to say. So why would you take, and I know that you don't have any children yet, but like say when you have a little boy and your little boy's 9, 10, 11 years old, knowing what you do know of when it comes to this situation, if you had a 9-year-old little boy, would you take that 9-year-old little boy to Dow if you knew that Chris Jones was there in a position of authority?
No, absolutely not.
If he was there,
not with Chris Jones there, yeah.
So you wouldn't do it, right?
Hell no.
So can you understand why people are upset with Kent Hovind for having this man, with giving this man the ability to not only come into Dow, but when he does come into Dow, because he never lived there, he comes there a couple times a year, that he actually has authority there. Like,
yeah,
people,
I mean, well,
that's the issue with Kent Hovind right now, and Pete Town will be in the side chat saying I'm spreading rumors, but no, this is what happened. This is my beef personally with Kent Hovind right now.
So like authority means like he has some type of like supervisor, he like some like administration type of abilities. I would never be around
that. When he was there, he did have those abilities.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea that either. That's something I just learned.
I could be wrong about that, but from my understanding, from what I've heard from Cindy Lincoln and a lot of these people that came out, he was giving a lot of power when he was there.
Oh, I see. I didn't even know that.
So why do you and everyone else give Kent Hovind a pass for his cover-up of Chris Jones sleeping in the same bed as a little boy when he was at Dow?
Because of the information I had, the background information I thought I had, which I'm learning new stuff now I'm going to look into, but I thought that this happened outside the knowledge of Kent. So it was outside of Kent's domain, in other words. If this was... So if Kent like just turned his head and said, "Oh, I'm going to let this happen anyway," and just pretend like it's not going to happen, then that's where I would never back Kent.
Well, so I would highly suggest. I don't know how long Brett's going to go tonight, but like when Brett's done or after this, if you're not doing anything, go check out the Brett stream that's going on right now. The very beginning of it, he starts with Linda Shark. Linda Shark was on the campus. Linda Shark was the one that wanted to put Chris Jones and the little boy in the man cave. She was the one that Kent Hovind personally overruled and sent them to this house alone, right? So I would suggest you don't have to trust Brett Keane. I don't, right? But she was there, right? And
okay.
Maybe she's lying, maybe she has an agenda, but she was there. I would listen to what she has to say on it.
I will definitely do that.
All right. I think I don't have... Yeah, I think that's pretty much it with Chris Jones. So I've already asked this once. You've kind of answered it, but I'll go ahead and ask it again because it's in my list here. How long have you been a fan or supporter of Kent Hovind?
Oh, for a while, at least. Let's see here. Probably going back to like 2008, at least around that time. So it's been a while. Yeah.
See, and I think that this can be a class study. And I did a stream about this, talking shit. That's what I do, right? But like I talk smack, like how do I know Kent Hovind better than these people that have followed Kent Hovind since 2008, 2009, right? How were you not aware that Kent shares a lot of common beliefs with Steven Anderson, or that he was good friends with Steven Anderson until Kent's first divorce and then subsequent marriages, which goes against NIFB doctrine. So like they were homies until Kent got divorced, and Steven Anderson does not believe in divorce, so they've had this feud ever since.
No, I knew that. It's just I would disagree with a lot of their beliefs. I mean, I think that actually Steven Anderson's very sound on many biblical things, but the gay things and some of these others I would disagree with him with. And the same with Kent if he had the same beliefs on
gay
that.
things, the killing adulterous wives,
all that I would disagree with, and I think I could disprove that.
To prison for disobeying their parents. Right? Like
that's some harsh punishment. My gosh.
We can't forget one of the worst ones, the blatant anti-Semitism. Like they're anti-Semites.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you think hate speech is protected free speech?
Let's see. To me, that's a loaded question because what constitutes hate speech? Like, what is your metric for that?
So, if you're pointing at a group of people, gay people, and you're saying that entire group of people needs to be exterminated, that's definitely hate speech.
That can be construed as hate speech. Yes, I would say that, and I would just disagree with it. But should that be allowed for them to voice that? Yes. Why not? They could. Why? Because my point is, why do you want a Muslim?
Hate speech is not guaranteed free speech. It's for one in America when you're talking free speech, right? Constitutionally, free speech only applies to the government. The government cannot take away your free speech. An individual company, I mean, for a capitalist, you should know this. An individual company has every right to do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
All right. So, but even like for a broader argument, because I brought this up in one of my streams, a lot of times people want to go to the UN's Universal Human Rights and Article 19 specifically that talks about free speech. But even there, in their definition of what free speech is, hate speech is not included in that. Hate speech is not a protected speech. Now, I am one. I agree with you. I don't think that we should push these people to the shadows. We should confront them, combat them.
Exactly. Ridicule them.
But when they're espousing free speech, that speech is not protected in any way. So even though I feel like they shouldn't be, quote unquote, canceled, if others feel like they should be and they go about doing so, they're not really doing anything unconstitutional, or they're not taking away free speech. They're making an error in my opinion by pushing these people to the shadows, because I think that they gain strength in the shadows. I think that by keeping it in the light of day and just debunking it visibly, that's the better way to go about it. But like to like, I don't know, for YouTube to take them off of their platform for that, that's probably because YouTube faces legal penalty for allowing that kind of speech to continue. It's very dangerous. Would you not agree?
Yes, but I think what constitutes hate speech needs to be defined better. There needs to be a better
I definitely think people
criteria.
go overboard with it. For sure.
Right.
But I think definitely when you're saying like this group of people needs to be exterminated, that's hate
speech.
Well,
any of that stuff, yes.
If you're using like
agree.
the N-word if you're being derogatory in any way towards people, like using slurs towards them, I think that can be construed as hate speech. But definitely if violence is implicated, then
threats and violence, that's where I draw the line. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing that I took issue with when UNSFT are talking about how Matt Powell and Steven Anderson should just be left to their own devices and be able to say whatever they want to say. They're not protected. They're not protected, and they still can say whatever they want to say. They just can't say it on YouTube anymore. You know, and that's not canceled. That's like Dave Chappelle going around saying he's canceled when he's doing shows at Madison Square Garden. That's not canceled. Right?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. But I think, Steven Anderson did kind of give like a disclaimer on his death or killing homosexuals or whatever. He said that we still obey the government what they say, but if it was under like a theocracy, then he would say then yes, at that point then they should be executed. So he did say we follow the government, though. So
Well,
I think
it's not necessarily
YouTube.
a theocracy. So he does. Yeah, he says follow the laws of man. Don't go out and get yourself arrested forever, right? But at the same time, they want to affect policy. So evangelical Christianity has a huge lobby. National Prayer Breakfast. Go check it out. They have one of the biggest lobbies in politics, and they are trying to push these hardcore Christian ideas. They test them out in places like Uganda, over in Africa, where National Prayer Breakfast is directly behind them trying to implement laws that would actually execute gay people. So they try them out in
Oh
these
wow.
places so they
Okay.
can start implementing them here. They don't necessarily need a theocracy. They just need enough politicians to get their way.
Yeah, I mean that is scary there. So you're right. If a lot of if I guess if they overpowered and got the majority vote or something and took over,
That's the whole point
I would.
behind the Quiverful movement, right? Like, so if you go and look at the Quiverful movement, people like the Duggars and people like that, they'll blatantly say they have all these kids because they want to raise an army for Christ. They want to infiltrate pop culture and politics. So the Duggars, they raise their kids into politics and music or whatever, and they had their huge lobbyists. A lot of these people have just exponential wealth, like crazy amounts of wealth, and yeah, like they are trying to breed a theocracy into America. It's their goal.
Oh my gosh. Yes, well, I mean, Jesus said religion is probably the most dangerous thing out there. He hates religious or what's the word? Hypocrites, and it's the Pharisees were the same way. They wanted to do all these things, and implement all these things in their law of the Roman law back then. And so Jesus hates it. He doesn't like these hypocrites out there. So they think that they're being zealous for the Lord, but I think they're just using it for an evil purpose. So there can be people that go under the banner or the guise of Christianity, but they're actually doing evil. And I would say that at that point, then you're just doing evil, because that's not what the Bible says. It's about grace, forgiveness, and mercy. And that's what Christianity is predicated on.
I think I'm almost done with my questions, and I'm gonna know the answers to a lot of these questions, but I want you to understand, like, I think sometimes maybe you don't quite understand what you say. Like SFT will say something like, we need to be combating Matt Powell and Steven Anderson, not canceling them, and then you'll make comments, and for somebody like me that actually does that combats them, right? Like, I don't see too
Right.
many Christians doing it, but I do it. I combat them on this stuff. Like, for somebody like me, when I see people say that, and they're not actually confronting these people, they're just saying, well, people should just confront them, and they're not actually doing it. To me, that all right, I've got a question mark now. All right, so do you internally really agree with these ideas? So I'm going to just ask the questions. I know the answers. Do you support the views of Steven Anderson and Matt Powell?
Not all of. I mean, some I do, and a lot I don't. I mean, as far as laws go, no. So
do
I
you
mean,
think
with some
God
other
wants the
things, I
government
do.
executing all gay people?
No, absolutely
Locking
not.
up wives that cheat on their husbands?
Nope.
Do you think God wants children in prison for disobeying their parents?
No.
Do you think, as they do, that all homosexual men are pedophiles?
No.
Do you think Christians should stand against such things and call out the preachers that are preaching them?
Yes.
Do you think atheists should?
Yes.
Do you think that when Christians and atheists call out these hate preachers for their bigoted and hateful speech, that they are trying to cancel them?
That is a question. I don't know the motives of people, but I would say generally no. It's probably for the principle of it, but I don't know the ulterior motives of people, though. So this is where it gets gray area for me.
All right, so should people that express hate speech be canceled? Now, I understand, I agree with you. The term hate speech it could be muddled with a lot of gray there, right?
It's a fuzzy word, yeah.
But like for hate speech that is just like definite, we would both agree this is definite hate speech. Should people
violence or threats?
Yeah, should people that express that kind of hate speech be canceled? That is, should they face repercussions in their real lives for their hateful rhetoric that they put online or some type of media or another?
Yes, what we know is hate speech, yes.
And I am in full agreement with that. I don't think we should push them to the shadows, but I definitely don't think that we should allow them to be a doctor if they're a white supremacist and they have to care for black people, right? Like,
right, exactly.
If you're a cop and I don't know, like you're an NIFB that thinks all gay people should be executed, I'm not going to trust you to be fair with a gay person and like say a domestic violence situation, or you're called to somebody's home. Like, yeah, I think that especially if you're put in a position of you work in a position of authority, then it's our moral obligation to cancel you from that position.
Yes, at that point where we know it is something that involves violence or threats, then yes.
All right, I appreciate it. That's all the questions that I have for you, Praise. I appreciate you coming in here and taking the fire and answering them. So, yeah, I wanted to get this done in about an hour, but if you have anything for me, be more than what, like if any criticisms of my coverage or the way that I approached Kent Hovind last night, anything that you want to say, like if you think I'm being unfair to you, because I'm trying not to be. I'm just trying to understand like where you're coming from in all of this.
So do you think like the malfeasance, like you would say there's some malfeasance going on here, what's going on with Kent and the Christians, but I'm going to return that question, put the ball in your court. Do you think the same malfeasance has happened in the atheist or secular community?
No. For one, like, so a lot of atheists right now that are celebrating Kent Hovind's channel being taken down are probably going to wake up in a week and realize they can't make content anymore, right? So I think that they're celebrating, what they think, bad stuff happening to what they think is a very bad person. But I don't think like they've had anything to do with Kent Hovind's channel being taken down. I'm sure some of them flagged Kent Hovind, but I don't think that there was some plot by atheists or evolutionists to get rid of Kent Hovind. I think that if anything, if there was a flag campaign, it most likely came from a bunch. It came from the Christians, because there's this growing population of Christians that are finding out, especially since the Daily Beast article, what is happening in Dow, and they're turning against Kent Hovind.
Yeah, okay, but I was more like, do you think they cover, like, do you think there's situations where atheists would, like, let's say like a figure like Matt Dillahunty or Aaron or Aaron Ra or just name whatever one out there. I don't even know all their names, but do you think they would do the same things as what you're saying that what the Christians are doing with? Well, Kent?
Yeah, I think it happens. I think for one, I think it's a human condition. I think we kind of play team sports. Like I can think of like Adam Silverman for one. Like there's a lot of atheists that don't agree with Adam Silverman. Adam Silverman's been accused of sexually harassing women beneath his position of power. But there is definitely an element of atheists out there that's more than willing to go around and justify that behavior. I think that. I can't think of like this, like a really big atheist that there's been pedophilia associated with. I'm sure that they're out there. I just can't think of them. But I'm sure that if that is the case, then there is probably an element of atheists that believe that atheist no matter what the evidence say. So no, like this isn't some flaw in Christianity. But I definitely do think that Christians play team sports a lot more than atheists do. Atheists, we will point the finger right at each other's face and like, you suck. Why? Like, how many times have I heard like, why do you even talk about evolution? Like, this is why I don't talk about evolution anymore.
Exactly. I appreciate that transparency, man. That's I have a lot more respect for you after that.
Yeah. I try to be fair. Like atheists and Christians, we're gonna do the same human shit. Like, there might come a point where I need a raging atheist to call me out because I'm justifying some fucked up behavior because I can't figure it out, right? I'm gonna need somebody to help me figure it out, right?
Yes, and maybe this will be a good transition for Smokey because I know that you really had some disagreements with how I approached Smokey. But
Yeah,
maybe I can
we worked those out, but yeah, you can comment on it because I have brought it up. Like, I brought up the similarities just based in like there seems to be this pattern now because you did justify Smokey's behavior for so long, and now you seem pretty chill with justifying Kent covering up, and like just the implications behind that. It's like maybe you don't even notice that there's this little pattern developing here.
No, I can see how people would see how, that praise is definitely going in this pattern of trying to justify these criminals or whatever. But that's not my intention, Ray. It just never has been. And, believe it or not, like me and Smokey were like, we had some times where we were, intimate in like the talking about things and privately and on the phone and stuff. And like he like basically schmoozed me over to believe like he was innocent. And I fell hook, line, and sinker for that. So yes, I was sort of an idiot, a gullible idiot for that. But I want you, if you can ever see the sequence of events that happened when Rob, Rob, I think is Rob, I forget his last name now.
The lawyer guy, I know you're talking about.
The lawyer, right. When he came out with that picture of Kenny there, Rob Reed, there he is. Yeah, I love Rob. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And he changed. In fact, he changed my whole outlook on them because you'll see after that picture came out, immediately I came with a video against Smokey. It was the next day.
Yeah, when you had hard proof, you turned against him and you didn't turn back. And I've always commended you for it. Like I said, you were late to the party, but hey, I'm glad you're here now. Right?
Exactly. So I did ignore a lot of warning signals from you guys. You're right. And it's sort of like with Kent too. If I find that same hardcore evidence, bye Kent. Right. I'm going to be against you.
That's awesome.
I think you're a despicable, low-life scumbag. And if that really comes out to be true, I will be anti-Kent Hovind. I'll join your side. I'll be on putting the sign up again. Get Kent Hovind in jail or something. Whatever it is, the penalty. But yeah, so
I totally respect that, man. And I, hopefully, like I said, you don't have to like diss your boy SFT. But when it comes to this, take his words as a grain of salt and do it yourself. Just find it. Like I said, go look at what Linda Shark was saying today. Like when I put it in the side chat, I was like, holy shit, I was just listening to the interview with the Daily Beast woman and he completely denies this, right? But here she is laying out the very question that the woman interviewer was asking Kent Hovind.
Yeah, I got to sort a lot of this out, but I'm definitely going to take a look at that. And I'm going to be as objective as possible. And if it does look like that is, Kent is negligent in all this and he willingly is negligent, then I'm going to separate myself. I mean, not necessarily from SFT because I love SFT. That's between SFT and Kent. So I'm not going to separate completely from everyone, that's involved with him. But I definitely myself will. So.
Well, yeah, and I don't expect you not to give Kent Hovind the benefit of the doubt. Do your diligent research. Come to your own conclusions. Don't take my word for it.
Right.
Hopefully my questions, because I don't want people to think that I'm being unbiased. I think in the past, I was unfair. I have been very unfair to Christians, right? Like I've allowed my own biases, bigotries against the faith to come out, and for me, a person that fights against bigotries to express it openly, my own, there's a hypocrisy there, and I'm really trying hard to work on that.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't want to appear like I'm doing this to be a bottom feeder or nothing. No, I'm not interested in creationism. I've always been more interested in Kent Hovind's real life behavior and his real life beliefs than opposed to one final question. And this is more of a common sense question because I'm not saying it's not possible. There's really smart people out there like Leo. I imagine Leo Filius probably reads 23 out of 24 hours a day. Like that dude just knows shit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's possible, but when a Christian spends so much of their time invested in debunking science to prove creationism for some reason, instead of reading their Bible and being sound with their theology, don't you think that lens, I don't know if I can actually trust this person to be a real Christian if he's more worried about spending all of this time creating thousands upon thousands of slides to debunk evolution, and yet Skylar Fiction can walk circles around him when it comes to morality in the Bible. Like, to me, that would be like a huge red flag for somebody like Kent Hovind.
Right, I would probably disagree with you. I can see your point, though. I can see where you're coming from, but I would say because there's certain threats that are facing Christianity right now. One of them is like a naturalistic reality. Evolution is a big part of that. So it's something that is a threat to our religion. Or I hate using the word religion because it's like so. It cheapens it almost.
I got to give Brett credit for making a good point, because I usually don't hear too many good points from Brett, but Brett made this point, and it's a good point. So let's say that Kent Hovind wins every single debate he's ever had. I know you said that you think that that's a thing. It's not. He hasn't, but I know you think that it is. Let's say he has, right? Let's say that Kent Hovind and SFT and all these creationists, they just own atheists 100% of the time. Do you think that that's going to influence all the scientists that have spent their lives dedicated to the science behind it? That, what, Kent Hovind really owned that atheist, so fuck evolution, right? Like, no, it's not going to do nothing, right?
No, because everyone has their biases. I think that even you would agree with that. So what we're really doing is solidifying those already in the faith that are weak. So there are weak Christians out there that wonder, is this evolution stuff true? Could there be a God? So it's really for them. It's not even for those scientists that are, really ingrained into like this naturalistic understanding. So there's a lot at stake here, even for weak believers out there. That's how I would answer it.
All right. Well, yeah. And that's all I got for you, man. I truly appreciate it. Like I said, I enjoy, like kind of the back and forth. So, I'll stream and talk shit. And then you're like, let's look at the stupid. I enjoy that part. But I also, and we've said this several times, instead of just doing that, let's come together. Let's talk to each other. Let's ask each other our questions and put it all out there. I appreciate you coming on and doing that with me today.
Oh, I enjoyed it a lot, man. I appreciate your transparency too, and I thought that you were straightforward, and I really respect that about you, Rage. And I've always respected that because I think you've always spoke your mind. Even if it was off, I might disagree with it, but at least there's nothing there that's disingenuous. Or you're not trying to like be deceptive or something like Darth Dawkins would probably accuse you of. But I really respect you, Rage. But I thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed the conversation. I have a lot to think about and look at. So thank you.
Thanks for coming. And like I said, it's Friday night. I'm sure you want to do stuff on your own channel, but you're more than welcome to come to the after party. Especially if people come in and start talking smack, you're more than welcome to come on and defend yourself. I'll allow you to do that. So for sure.
Let the smack talking begin against praise.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so thank you, man. I had fun, so I appreciate you coming on.
Likewise. Take care, man. Have a good one.
You too. All right. So I thought that was a good conversation. I thought that was good. After party is going to start in roughly about 24 minutes. So I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go probably, I've got some coffee made. I've been drinking soda, but I think it's time for a cup of coffee. Fill up a cup of coffee, fill up my soda glass, and we'll get this after party rolling here in about 20 minutes. So thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry that I didn't see any questions in the side chat. I said that I would try, but the way I got it set up, my questions page ended up having to be up instead of the side chat. So I do apologize if I missed any questions. I will try to go through the side chat, and if I, and look at the questions and ask praise those questions at another time. So thank you guys for watching. 20 minutes after party. You're all welcome. Come talk, and especially if you can argue for evolution, maybe we can look at some of the parts where Kent Hovind was talking evolution in that stream last night. So thanks, everybody, and I will see you in about 20 minutes.